Hey Capricorn, I missed you. Are you ready for this? I got your May Tarotscope coming up. There's a lot going on here. As I was shuffling, I got the Dark Moon card coming out for you, and I think we're talking a lot here about retrogrades and like what's going on in your sign and with your planet Saturn this month, right? All right, so I got a little intro coming up for you guys, and then we're gonna jump into your reading. Let's go. All right, Capricorn, I'm Chris. Welcome to your May Tarotscope. Hope you guys liked that little intro I made for you there. I made a different one for all of the signs. I miss you guys, seriously. I kind of got overwhelmed with readings, private readings back in March, and there was like a big like emotional time going on then. Like Pisces season just like drowned me in feelings, and I was not very functional. But now I'm back. I'm ready to go. I'm like super charged up by this Saturn and Capricorn energy that's happening right now, and I think that with you guys, like with the dark moon, this card has been coming up in almost all of my readings so far. There are a lot of planets in retrograde right now. We have Saturn, we have Pluto, we have Jupiter, all in retrograde as I'm recording this, and like throughout a big chunk of May for most of them. Like Saturn in Capricorn and going retrograde isn't going to come out until like September. So there's a lot of internal work going on here. Like the dark moon represents the quiet time, the introspective time, the time to go within and reflect. And as I was preparing, I'm doing a little meditation on each of the signs and just preparing some notes. And it's funny that that card came out as I was shuffling, because what I said for Capricorn is that, especially because your planet is going retrograde, which I personally for myself really like. To me, like Saturn in Capricorn has been such like a energized forward moving energy, which I was excited about, but it also gets overwhelming, right? So to me, Saturn going retrograde in Capricorn for a little while is kind of a little bit of a break. You know, it's like a good time to reassess and re-examine and like make sure that like course correct, make sure we're on path here. And when I came up for you guys when I was preparing for this reading is that, you know, you guys are the GOAT. You're sure-footed. You're confident. You can scale difficult terrain and get to heights that other people can't. But I say this to my Pisces friend all the time. It's like, yes, you guys are really good with people and understanding energy, but that doesn't mean you're always right. Right? A Pisces might be right about a person 8 out of 10 times, but you have to understand that those 2 times are also important to like understand that there's maybe things that they don't see, they don't recognize, right? And I think with Capricorn, you guys have so much confidence, and for good reason. Like you guys are go-getters, you're manifestors, you make shit happen. But I think sometimes on the ascent, on the confident hopping from rock to rock up the face of the mountain, sometimes you don't like reassess like where you're at. You don't reassess your choices and your decisions. You don't take time to see, okay, where am I now? Is this like still what I need to be doing? Like there's almost like this happens with Taurus a lot, right? There's like this rigidness to the thinking where sometimes it behooves you, no pun intended, to say, okay, like this has been working, but is this still what I want? Assess your beliefs and assess your values this month, right? Because I think sometimes we forget that yes, Capricorn, your symbol is the goat, but it's originally the sea goat, right? So it has the front half of a goat and the back, the tail of a fish. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because you guys are not particularly like a sensitive sign. Like you're caring, but not sensitive in the sense that like your emotions often get the best of you. And I think the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think it is important to remember that, to me, like the tail on the goat is like what drives you, what moves you forward. And I do think it's important for you guys to recognize that a lot of your motivations and a lot of the things that push you forward are emotional in nature. And that's important because like I think you need to value your emotional world and take care of it and nurture it. And I had this talk with Virgo earlier where Virgo has been in a place where they're just like putting their emotions aside and focusing on their hustle, and they've been doing it, and now it's like time to like pay attention to their emotional world. I think with you guys, paying attention to your emotional world right now is going to really accelerate your ability to be productive. So I've been talking for a little while. I'm going to start pulling cards. We're going to summarize April. In the beginning, I'm going to pull a couple cards to see what lessons we're bringing into it with us for May. I'm using a new deck here. It's the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. I'll put that in the description. Also a slightly different layout where I'm just kind of spreading the cards out and picking them as I go. I just felt like that was right for this deck. Also in the description, you'll see I've repriced all my personal readings. I've made a lot more affordable options, and check those out. They've been getting great reviews, and I've been loving doing them. So if that's something that interests you guys, check that out. So I'm going to start off by pulling about 3 cards for April, just to sum up like the lessons that we learned and what Capricorn has been through that you're bringing with you into May. Yeah, you see, 5 of Cups. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, of course. Okay, like does this make sense? Like this is everything I'm saying right now, guys. And then the King of Pentacles. Can we just talk about this? Like I'm really liking, I know some people call it like channeling and stuff, and I wouldn't necessarily say I'm channeling, but I was doing meditations on the signs before I do the reading, and I swear to God, guys, like do you see what I'm talking about here? Where Capricorn has been in their manifesting power, and the 10 of Pentacles is like you're creating things, you're creating the life, you're getting the house, you're getting the job, you're creating the family, you're building the financial structure that you want for yourself. But look what's underlying all of it. 5 of Cups. Emotional sorrow. Feeling like the lack within. Was this not everything I was just saying? Like literally, right? Yeah, you guys are hustling, you're creating, but it's like, look at this King of Pentacles. This is the first time I've ever seen him this way, where he kind of looks sad. Usually I like how he's like calm and collected, and he has this composure that's so attractive. But right now it almost looks like he's a little sad. And I'm not saying you guys are sad, but I just do think that like, what you're coming into May with is like a little bit of emotional unfulfillment in your relationships, in your job, whatever it might be. Like this is why I'm saying, guys, like it's time to take a step back. It's time to use the next few months to really recalibrate and get in touch with your values and what you believe and what you think like you need going forward here, right? It's not enough to just keep charging forward. You know, there's this idea, and I'm going to move into May right now, but there's this idea in like business management about production versus production capability, and how if you just drive your employees to put out more and put out more and put out more without nurturing their productive capability, the quality is going to decline, right? And like you're not going to get as much output. Whereas if your employees are well rested, if they have vacation, if they have benefits, if they have like time off, then it seems counterintuitive, but you're actually going to get more better work out of them. And this is what I'm feeling for you guys when I'm talking about the emotional nature. Let's look into May. It's like taking care of that part of yourself, taking care of your feelings is actually going to make you like better at everything else. And this card keeps coming up too. The half moon. There's a lot of moon stuff going on here this month, right? This is a new deck, and they use these moon phases as part of it. But this is like the waxing moon. This is the halfway point between light and dark, between the full moon and the new moon. So it's like you guys are making it, right? You're making these strides, but to me right now, this feels like just a lack. Like there's a part of it that's missing, part of the equation that isn't working right, or it's just like kind of missing. And like you can see, of course, you have like the 10 of Pentacles. Like this is almost like, look, it's funny if you put the cards like this, right? Do you see the dichotomy here that I'm talking about? The material success here on the light side of the moon with the 10 of Pentacles, with the emotional instability and insecurity that's on the dark side of the moon. Now you don't get to the full moon by just pushing this away, right? You get to it by dealing with it, by addressing it, by not covering up the darkness, but by bringing light to it. Like light as in not just like love and light, but like attention. Right? What else is going on with Capricorn in May? Emperor. This is part of the equation that brings you guys into your power. I love how in this deck, like, it's kind of interesting because the King of Pentacles has more of like a ram's head. But to me, it's very Capricorn energy, right? And here, like the Emperor, which is like Aries, which is Ram, he kind of has a goat on his head. This is about status. This is about your power in the world. This is about you guys having everything you want. Being able to manifest everything that you want for yourself. For being in complete control. This is like Capricorn in an amazing place. Like think about like the ruler of the Emperor is Mars, is Aries, right? Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It means that those qualities, the quality of Mars are best expressed in the sign of Capricorn. Where you have that drive and that warrior energy moving towards security, towards leadership, right? Like sometimes the warrior energy in Aries, like the leadership, I've said this to you before, if I were to choose a leader for a group, it would be an Aries or a Capricorn for sure. But, you know, in Aries, that energy can get a little immature maybe, right? Where they might enjoy the just the pleasure of the power itself. Whereas Mars is exalted in Capricorn because I feel like Capricorn can handle that energy wisely. And Capricorn takes on the responsibility of power. And guys, later in this month, we have Mars entering Aquarius. So what that does is it brings this rush of dynamic energy, but it also brings, impersonal anger. It brings like a little bit of erratic energy. But in a way, energy where you're trying new things, where you're putting yourself out there in different ways, where you're trying different approaches to something. So let's see what else we got here for Capricorn. I was thinking love when I pulled this out, and we have the Fool. So let's just say, for first off, like there's a lot of Aries energy here too, right? So if you guys are dealing with an Aries, I feel like you're gonna find yourself in a position of power, right? Where maybe if you've been jerked around by somebody, or if something like that, you're gonna find yourself in a position of power where you have freedom, where you have sovereignty and independence, right? But ultimately, I do think that, you know, if you're a Capricorn and you're in a love situation right now, like I feel like this is for people maybe in an existing relationship. There's a sense here of the Fool, like independence, right? So this might be, having to just take care of yourself. You know, maybe your partner's not pulling their weight, or they're not just like doing their thing. So it's really time for you guys to focus on you and your own hustle and making sure that you're okay, right? But I do also feel like some of you might be spending some alone time. Like this is independence maybe in the terms of like being alone. Like you guys the point is, Capricorn, is I think you're on your own path. I think you're on a new path. I think if, you're a single person, you're ready to venture out maybe into a relationship. Maybe you weren't ready before and now you're feeling ready. If you're in a relationship and like there's a need for freedom, if you guys can like feel free and empowered within your relationship, then, stay in it and just do your thing. If you need to break free though, this is saying kind of like come into your power. Come into your power and own it. Own your ability to like venture out into the world and like take control of your destiny. Let's pull another card for love for Capricorn. Ace of Wands. Okay, so I mean, look at this newness. Look at this fire energy. Look at this freshness. I feel for a lot of you, there's going to be a new influx of romantic energy. So for some of you, that might be purely sexual, right? You just might be like getting out on the scene, feeling good about having your fun, being flirty, being free, and that's it. For others of you, I think that I feel like hot little romances. I feel like hot little flings. I feel like an invigoration of your love life. This could be like you're in a happy committed relationship, but maybe like you're out with your girlfriends or something and somebody's flirting with you and it makes you feel good about yourself. It fires you up. It makes you feel like powerful. Right? I think this is what I was talking about when I said about paying attention to your emotional world. It's not enough to just keep driving forward. You need to feel sexy, Capricorn. You need to feel romanced. You need to feel like not just that the person you're with or the person you're going to be with is going to be a provider, but that like they bring fire into your life. I think you guys need a little bit of that Mars energy. And that's why I said maybe for some of you with Mars and Aquarius, it might just have you like testing the waters, right? With a lot of different people. Whatever. No one's judging you. Great, do it if that's what you need to do, right? And if that's not your style, do something, I think, Capricorn, and make yourself feel sexy. You know, if you can afford it, buy some new clothes, get your hair did, get your nails done. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I think it's important for you guys to feel super good about yourselves in May. Like to build up your ego, to build up your confidence, to not be dependent on somebody else for how you feel about yourself. To take the responsibility of your own happiness and your own good feelings into your own hands. You think the emperor is sitting around waiting for someone to make him happy? No. No, I guarantee you he's not. All right, let's see what else we have for Capricorn in May. Queen of Swords. Okay, so some of you could be dealing with an air sign, especially a Libra person. So if you are dealing with a Libra person, I actually feel like this air sign connection might break free. There's a lot of feeling here of independence and sovereignty and newness, right? And with the Queen of Swords, you know, she's someone who cuts. She's someone who is logical. She, you know, Capricorn, this could also be you like disconnecting yourself from certain people or certain situations that aren't working. Like, this is why I feel like it's such a Libra card, because it's about weighing things out and like being finicky with things and moving things from scale to scale to make sure things are perfect, and this works and this doesn't, and this works and this doesn't. This is you guys also using that intellectual power to reflect on your goals and your life and like where you're at and where you've been and like where you want to go. Who's with you and who's not? Who do you need to at least sever like emotional ties with or like psychic bonds with, right? Who do you need to separate yourself from in that regard a little bit? Don't be afraid. I think you might have to be a little ruthless. The Queen of Swords comes with this like little sense of ruthlessness to her, right? And not because she's like a dragon woman, but because like she knows in her heart, she's so in touch with her mind and her emotions and her sense of self that she knows what's right and what's wrong without even having to think twice about it. She can act swiftly and strongly. All right, Capricorn, let's see what else we got going for you. Let's talk more about this Queen of Swords energy. What's more? Knight of Wands. So, okay, again, if you guys are dealing with the fire sign here, especially if it's Aries, but any fire sign, there could be a disconnect here. Normally, these fire and air signs go pretty well together, right? But you're not an air sign. You're an earth sign. So I think that, if anything, the Queen of Swords is you guys embodying that air sign energy and disconnecting from this person, especially if you're dealing with the fire sign. This doesn't have to be a lover. This could be a boss. This could represent like a relationship. This is kind of oppressive to me, the Knight of Wands, right? Because the Knight of Wands can be very selfish and in a way that's admirable and people might want to model themselves after in some way. But also right now it's feeling to me like very just like thoughtless, right? Like not caring. Like, I don't know if you guys can see his face, like, but look at that face. He's like doesn't give a fuck. He's so somber and in his own business, right? So guys, if you are dealing with the fire sign, just disconnect with them. If you're dealing with any kind of like arrogant assholes in your life, It's like, I feel like they're draining you. I feel like there's no reason to be loyal to these people just because they're familiar, right? If they're walking all over you in this like cavalier way, that's not going to help you get up that mountain. That's not going to get that like goat fishtail like moving fast and strong. It's cutting you off from the things you want, from the things that you're capable of having. So recognize that this influence in your life is shitty as fuck. Okay. All right, let's pull one more card for May, and then I'm going to pull some outcome cards. I mean, people everywhere, Knight of Swords. So guys, if there's an air sign in your life, let's go this way. And it's funny because you guys are like maybe the 7th reading I've done today, and whenever these cards come up, I'm like, I don't know if I'm feeling like another person, but in your reading, I feel like these cards are very much representing people in your life. So if there is an air sign in your life, this feels positive to me. This feels like the kind of person who's going to help you get to new heights. This doesn't have to be a romance, a love interest. This could be like a close friend. It could be a business partner, right? But I feel like this person who is a little more thoughtful, right? Like literally thoughtful. Like the King of Wands, I mean, the Knight of Wands kind of just goes with his gut. He kind of just like can be impulsive. And the King of Swords, I mean, the Knight of Swords is impulsive too, but in a way that inspires action. Right? In a way that inspires movement, in a way that like it doesn't matter if you fail or not, because the point was that you needed to get moving, right? So if you do have an air sign in your life, I'd see this relationship going positively. Maybe that's why I'm emphasizing emotions so much, because I think maybe for you guys right now it's very heavily relationship oriented, right? Like when I talk about emotions, I think a lot of that has to do with the people in your life. I think you guys could also be having like an air sign in your life that, or just like a person with these qualities who has like, who is like rambunctious and a go-getter and wants to make things happen, and maybe like speaks like, you know, bluntly and like, you know, just says what they think. Like really motivating you, really inspiring you, someone you could have fun with, someone you can like connect with, right? All right, so let's pull some outcome cards here, guys. I want to get into that. Hey, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. So far we have two major arcana and the King of Cups. We have first outcome card, the Magician. Second outcome card, Judgment. Third outcome card, King of Cups. So since we are talking relationships here, no. There could be Pisces coming into your life, or a bond with the Pisces. I feel Pisces in particular, right? But what I feel more of, I'm gonna move away a little bit from the like, this person, this card is this sign. I feel like this is what we're talking about. You guys really successfully managing the balance between your like real world ambition and your emotions. The King of Cups is so balanced to me. He's the third. I've done 7 readings. He's come out in 3 of them. And I think that's just what's happening astrologically. We've been in this place where there's just this emotional heaviness from March and April, and now April into May, we're finding balance again. We're finding like our sense of self. We're finding our security. We're finding our confidence. So the King of Cups to me is like you guys being grounded in yourself, finding balance, finding your emotional harmony, and the way that translates into like riches of the world. The Magician, making things happen. I think you guys are going to be making moves, especially with Judgment. Like if it involves like movement towards a new job, if it involves movement to or from something. Like if you need to get away from a relationship, or you need to invest in a relationship. If you need to get away from a job or go deeper into the job. There's either a movement closer to or away from something, but the point is that it brings you into a new way of being. Right? If you choose to invest more in your job, if you feel like that's a sound investment, then you're going to go deeper into it and you're going to be more successful. If you think what's best for you is to move away from that job, you're also going to be successful. Either way, what I'm saying is that the choices you make, the decisions you make when you tap into like this fuller sense of yourself is going to lead you towards like new, higher levels. And that's what you guys are all about, right? Like moving up, moving forward, creating creating value and substance, right? It's not just about material world or status. It's about substance in your life. It's about real love. It's about real family. It's about real joy in the thing you do for a living, right? I love that for you guys. All right, so I have these rune cards. I'm gonna pull one at the end of this reading. I use these in my private readings. I'm using them in my general now, just to kind of give like a step forward and see where we go from here, right? And again, like in the description, I have links to private readings if you guys want to check those out. New pricing, keeping them very affordable. I just believe in, spiritual guidance being something that people have access to. You don't have to spend $150 for a half an hour reading to get some guidance, right? And you can get something a little more personal in this. And even though these are great, anyway. I love this for you guys. This is the rune Gifu. It's literally means gift, but it's about exchange, particularly exchange of energy, right? Think about a gift. Look at this image. You have these two people holding hands. It's like the give and take. The symbol here is like energy that's crossing and it meets in the middle, right? This is about getting what you put in, guys. This is about making sure the relationships in your life are giving you something back for what you're putting into them. So right now, and through like probably most of the summer, even until Saturn goes direct again, right now is the time to evaluate your relationships, evaluate your life, evaluate where you're living, evaluate what you're connected to, what you're giving your energy to is the point here. Are you giving your energy to things that are like giving back and that are paying off? Or do you feel like you're bleeding out? Do you feel like somebody or something is just taking and you're not getting what you deserve out of it? All right, Capricorn. So don't give yourself away. Don't give away like the amazing gifts you have. Don't give away the power you have to anybody or anything that isn't willing to give it in return. Only give your energy where you get something back. It's not like you have to expect something, but that's like a healthy relationship, is a give and take. Even with something like non-personal, like a job or a career, right? All right, guys, I love talking to you. I feel really optimistic about where things are going for you guys. I came into this feeling like, obviously we started with the Five of Cups from where we're coming into this month. And I'm just glad to see that the cards are showing an integration of like your emotional world, and like things are gonna pay off, and like you're gonna have a stronger sense of like who deserves you, right? That should be the title of this video. Who deserves you, Capricorn? All right, guys, I love you so much. Kill it in May. You're gonna do great, and I'll see you in June. And best of luck. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.